street, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human being.
Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it. Right, you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio! All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
Cultivating consciousness. With your host, Kelsey, Sweet.
Morning Revolution Radio, morning Planet Earth. Welcome to Cultivating Consciousness. I'm your hostess, Kelsey Sweet. Today is July 8th, 2020, and if you are over on the East Coast of the United States, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Good morning. I hope you've poured your coffee. If you're on the West Coast with me, of the United States of America, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for us. Woo! Yes, that's early. I wake up very, very early on Wednesday mornings, Wednesday hump day, to cultivate consciousness here on planet Earth. What does that mean? I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out myself. What is consciousness? We don't know. It's the unanswered question. Good place to start. Revolution.radio at freedomslips.com. Go there. Go to the store. Go to the donations. We are your favorite listener-supported online radio station, and we have been here for a long time, and we are so, so excited to be here to share information with you. We can't do it without you. So, go to the website, support us, get on Patreon, become a supporter. Archives are going to be released soon. That means we're all going to be getting updated. I'll get my stuff hopefully caught up. I'm approaching year 1 here of Revolution Radio, doing Cultivating Consciousness. My first year of radio has almost been complete, and it's definitely been an adventure. Learned a lot. I'm learning a lot. There's a lot that I that I want to do with this. Not just about like consciousness in general, right? Learning a lot about myself, learning a lot about radio, broadcasting, what it is that I want to do. So usually here on Cultivating Consciousness, I open up my channel and I allow whatever relevant information to come through for the day. Sometimes I've got guests set up, and I did have a guest set up for today. But sometimes with technology, things don't always work out. And I think also when it comes to approaching some of these heavier topics first in the morning, I mean, it can be kind of intimidating. So we'll hold space for that, and then see if next week my guest will come on. I don't want to go too much into details. I always feel like I jinx it that way. But I think perhaps to set us up in that, and something that's coming through this morning is talking about feminine leadership, the female side, the female energy, feminine versus masculine. And this shows up in so many different ways and so many different themes. In my own life, currently, this week I started a women's energy class through one of the psychic institutes here. I had some class credits for bringing my unicorn down to some of their events. I've got a life-size rideable unicorn. It supports about 250 pounds. And for those of you who don't know me and what it is that I do, on top of being an entrepreneur, psychologist, I'm an artist, various types, from painting to collaging to performance art. And one of my main pieces, one of my key pieces, my iconic pieces, is this life-size unicorn. It's on rolling casters, and the skin's made out of paper mache, and it's pretty solid. But the idea behind that as an icon, right, goes into this realm of feminine energy. And so in doing this women's healing class, it was supposed to start last week, or supposed to start the previous week, and it didn't. I think only a couple, like 2 people from the group had showed up, or like one video room had showed up. And so I think, if anything, just holding space for divine timing, for allowing things to show up when they want to, is a big component of what it is that I do here. Allowing the organic information to flow through, right? Learning how to trust the channels and things like that. So let's see here. Let's get grounded in. Let's ground in for the day. We'll sync up our energies and work on aligning things energetically. I don't know if I'm a microcosmic reflection of something macro going on, but if there's anything speaking to me in my life, right, it's consolidating, concentrating, getting organized, and pulling in all of these pieces together so that we can focus, right, so that the energetics can all harmonize. And for this show specifically, the energies aren't harmonized yet. I'm still working with my intro and trying to get synced up with that and pull into alignment that which will not only elevate myself, but will elevate the whole quickly. And I think when it comes to intentions, or when it comes to the harmonics and frequencies within that which we're trying to create, if things aren't in alignment, if things are out of whack, and they're not gonna resonate as well. So if we want something to resonate, if we want to create something that has a resonance that raises the overall collective energetic vibration. I mean, ultimately, as a creative, that's the direction that we're aiming for. Getting to that point can be very challenging. Very, very challenging. You have to be very in tune with the subtle bodies, not only of yourself, but of the world and the things going on around you. So to feel that, to get in alignment, to harmonize, I like to start out this show on occasion, not every day, not every Wednesday, with a collective breath. And in the live moment, as this is live streaming, the collective breath, I think, can be felt fairly instantaneously. And I'm curious to know if, when this is listened to later on, if you're breathing, if you can still find that alignment, if you can still find a way to synchronize energetically, or if it would feel different, I don't know. But for this, we'll go to the breath. Breath is life, right? We'll breathe together as a whole. And so now begin to bring your awareness to your breath. Just note where you're breathing, how you're breathing. If it's tight in your chest, are you breathing through your nose, or are you breathing through your mouth? What does your breath have to tell you? This is the basics of meditation, right? If we're going to clear out the clutter, if we're going to clear out all the noise, we have to get quiet. And it's radio. So get quiet on radio. Radio is all about noise and joining into the frequencies and the ethers, right? So our breath, that energy, is going to travel over the radio waves through the ethers into the cosmos. This is how we approach our quantum channels, right? To find and discover, awaken our quantum powers within through the breath. I know it's a lot to take in, right? So together, we're going to do 3 deep breaths. Are you ready? I'm wiggling in my seat. And antsy. It's been hard to sit still. So let me get myself centered. And our first breath, collectively, in through the nose, out through the mouth, nice and slow. Feel your breath fill up your entire body. From your chest to your diaphragm, to your gut, and to the cells of your limbs. And we breathe in. And hold your breath. And slowly breathe out. Thank you. Our second breath. We'll do 3 and breathe in. And breathe out. And our third one, our conscious breath. We're going to pull in life force, high vibrations. We're going to pull that energy into every cell into our body. And as we breathe out, we're going to release every vibration, everything that is toxic to our being collectively. In and out. Thank you. I always notice within myself a shift in the energy and a change, and I always feel much more grounded. Before classes, I do this as well, especially as we're trying to tap into our creative channel. Creative channel midweek, first thing in the morning. Right? And what are our messages? What is the information that's coming through? What's standing out to you, right? Calling into the subtle bodies. Are we here? Are we here? Are we present? In present time? It's a tough question. Some days no. When I opened up my Facebook feed, I'm on Facebook kind of often. It's one of the easier ways to get a hold of me or to find me. You can find me, Kelsey Sweet, through there. You can also go to kelseysweet.com, and then I've got links towards the bottom towards my social media accounts and things like that. So you can find me. I'm out there. You can try to email me or contact me that way. Sometimes it takes me a little while to catch up. I'm definitely on my own time frame. So let's see. Oh, so I opened up this feed, and one of the first things I got to was Deepak Chopra. He's doing a live chat, and I think it's still live streaming, though the video says it's interrupted at the moment. But he's talking about the rise of the feminine leadership, feminine energies. There's a lot of different ideas, right, that would suggest that we're going from this masculine to this very feminine energy. The transition, the balance, going into a new age, awakening, right? Scales are tipping, right? So we can recalibrate. And in this women's energy class that I started this week, we go through the basics of women's grounding, and we get into the ovaries, and my left side, the creative side, spiritual side, open, free-flowing. My right side, not so much. There's a lot of stagnating energy, where I find, like, especially within the ovaries, masculine energy or toxic masculine energy has showed up, or has, like, appeared through the meditations. And the question that was posed to me was this yours, or does this belong to somebody else? And so I'm working through that one this week, right? And trying to discern what is not just my energy and what is not somebody, like, and what is somebody else's, but learning to discern within myself what that feminine energy feels like, and what it should feel like, and how within myself so much of that feminine energy, that call, is suppressed culturally, family. I don't know. We'll stick with the cultural aspect of it. It's just, and so working through moving out that energy to really step into the feminine side, to really embrace the female power, the femininity, expression, flow. We'll see how it goes. I'll update you next week and let you know how this course goes. I think it's 6 weeks, every Monday afternoon. So I can feel my energy shifting, and I hope that in releasing whatever energies not in alignment with my highest good will bring to this space the energy that I'm desiring for this space. I think desire might be the right word, or that I hope for this space. I'm at this place of, like, is it the content or the intention that matters? Or both? Show up, speak your truth. What does that look like? How does that feel? It's all feminine leadership, feminine energy, right? Okay, so critique. You need a recording. I'm looking through sessions here. Need a recording to say hypnotic suggestions. Not trained. Hypnotic suggestions. I'm pulling out one of my tarot decks. I'm gonna go to intuition here. Okay. I need a recording to say a lot of things. I need technology to, like, sync up and to come into an alignment here. I always have the worst luck with technology. Even this morning, like, I don't know, just a half hour before my show started, my phone decided to update. And I've got, like, 2 accounts that I can't access from my computer because I've got things logged out of this. And then I've got, like, headphones that went missing and then a phone that went missing. So when it comes to, like, anything that has to do with electronics, like, things just, like, things are kind of chaotic, a little haywire, like, staticky. And I'm picking that up through my channels too. And so I'm just wondering if it's some of this energy that I'm releasing, or if there's other things going on too. So I'm going to get some clarity here. Because the last few weeks really have just been like this for me. And I don't know if it's like this for other people too, or like in trying to connect to guests and stuff. We're definitely on our own time scale. So let's go there. I do have a lot of like noisy energy coming into my energetic space this morning. So I'm trying to in my pauses like sort through this information that's coming through to try to discern. Okay, I gotta like kick myself out of the way here. So I'm gonna go to cards because I think there's something important in terms of showing up here, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is and why. Let's see. Tarot of a Moon Garden is the deck that I'm going to be pulling from. And on it, it's got unicorns. So we're going to just go with this unicorn theme. And shuffle through, shuffle through, shuffle through. My energy is super low this morning, so I'm going to see if I can make it through all 2 hours of this morning. Okay, if anything, we'll just hang out and kind of hold space for each other. Because when it comes to things that I need a lot. So if you want to help support me in any sort of way, you can go to kelseysweet.com. There's options there. I'm working on putting together a Patreon for myself as well. It's there. The information's there. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can support me. Okay, let me go to this card. I'm seeing what card wants to come out. Trying not to get too distracted by different channels come through. Okay. Three of Swords, a Queen of Cups, holding power, maintaining power. But there's different directions. In this deck, on this Three of Swords, there's a heart shape at the bottom made out of ferns. The three swords coming out of the top, and the swords are topped with dragonflies. So there's a lot of transformative energy here. Things are going through this big shift, this big transformation, and so as we're like collectively going through this big transformation, trying to figure out how I'm supposed to show up and hold space for people, right? When it comes to transformation, oh gosh, man, I'm good at this. I'm good at starting over. I'm good at making changes. So let's see, Three of Swords. This one, if I look through the book, this one here, absence, sorrow, disappointment, strife, removal, dispersion, diversion, opposition, separation, delay. I mean, even the reverse side of this with distraction, confusion, disorder, error, mistake, incompatibility, anxiety, loss, alienation. Whoo. Right? Get yourself a sugar daddy. Thanks, Nolly. Reading through the chats here. If I could find a sugar daddy. It's funny that's mentioned. I was on one of the chat feeds that I've been participating in through Facebook. Somebody posted out the question, all right, ladies, honestly, which do you prefer, dad bod or the six-pack? Mostly people preferred the dad bod. But I go into this thing here, like, I go in for specifics about six-packs. Being 11 years older than me, right? Never been married, never had kids. I got very specific ideas of what this person needs to look like. And as great as it would be to have a sugar daddy, I can't even like wrap my head around it. I never really had like my daddy growing up. Like, why as we're shifting into a new age of female leadership am I still being told I need a man to support me? Why am I still being told that, like, I can't do it on my own, but I need a man to end up doing it all for me? If it were that easy, I'm learning in these years of my life, especially when it comes to my family and what people think success means. Part of me is like, why didn't I just drop out of school like my cousins and then go marry older rich dudes? That I'd be in the house and I'd be in a position where materially I'd be well off. I can't bring myself to do it. It's not me. The sun comes up. I don't know. I'm too stubborn. I don't even know what it's like to have money. I don't know what it's like to have a solid man in my life, and I don't know what it's like to have solid money in my life. Ever. Like, those things have just never existed to me. It's always been foreign. I've been raised or brought up in an environment of women, raised by a single mom. I'm her only child, but I'm the seventh daughter of my father. So there's 7 girls that I'm a part of, all female energy. Right? And I've been taught that there is no specific role for male, there's no specific role for female. Just been taught that if you want to survive and get through, you got to figure out how to do it all on your own. Right? You can't be dependent on somebody else. Or it's unfortunate because I think it's built within me a distrust of the masculine, or an uncertainty of it. Like, there's just something that feels very fleeting and not solid. So I don't know. Like, when it comes to the material stuff and exchange, like, if it's not the right vibration, if it doesn't match my vibration, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stay. So I don't know. I'm just out here vibrating on my own little planet, trying to figure my shit out. Right? But it's timing. It's like knowing where you fit into the world, but waiting for the other puzzle pieces to be discovered. Yes, unfortunate, being in a box. Yes, and I feel like that. I feel like I'm in a box. And I feel like for the last few months, especially, the COVID stuff has really exacerbated this, and I'm sure for a lot of people, but it's just really emphasized how boxed in I feel, like walking within this labyrinth. A few weeks ago, I did a show with a friend of mine, Jacqueline Curio, on labyrinths. And we get into this discussion of the mind, right, and how we go through these different paths and channels trying to find an exit, and oftentimes, like, the answer is right there in front of us. It's challenging. Like, what's the point, right? What's the point? Why create something new if it's just going to come along and be destroyed? Well, you can't destroy anything if there's nothing there in the first place, right? But I feel solemn, I feel heavy, and I'm sad that that's that first card that I pulled. Because I just don't want to be in this space, on this space, right? But at the same time, I feel like it's important. It's something that's authentic. It's something that's raw. It's something that's emotional. Because we're told to show up and you have to be a certain way, and you have to be this, and you have to be light and perky, and blah, 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 and you have to know what the thing is that you're doing. You know, there has to be, like, substance. There has to be direction. Like, why can't it just be? I'm going to look at this Queen of Cups card. Cups has to do with emotions. Right? Owning your emotions, feeling your emotions. Let's see. Queen of Cups. It's early, and I'm moving a lot of energy within myself, so I'm definitely relying on the book for this one here. So thank you for bearing with me and holding space for me as we do this. Queen of Cups. A warm-hearted and fair person, beloved and adored, good friend and mother, devoted wife, practical, honest, loving and intelligent, gift of vision. Right. There's good things here. There's positive things here. There's a lot of like, So if it's about energetics and realigning everything, when we look at the other side and the other meaning of this, I like referring to the books from different tarot cards, right? Because the artists all have their different visual interpretations, but the books also kind of go in alignment with that. I know people have their different beliefs. I'm just going with what feels right for me. So on the other side of this, it's dishonesty, unreliability, and vice. Right? Vices. We don't show up. I'm trying to think here too of like what I'm not being honest with, or what I'm not being honest about within myself. And it's just like, whenever I look in the mirror, it seems like anything I tell myself about myself is a lie. But I wonder if other people feel that way as well. Right? Like all the conditioning, everything that we're taught to think and see and feel about ourselves, like it's just not who I am. And it just feels like living a lie. Trying to show up and please other people. Trying to show up and do the thing that other people want. Right? Like, I don't know. I'm just not happy. But it's there. Like, I don't know. Love's on my mind. Like, as nice as it would be to have a sugar daddy, like, just having, like, a real, true, dedicated love. It's not about playing games. That would be great, right? Like, this masculine, feminine energy. And then I go through my head a lot, or, like, it's been told to me by a shaman, you know, you don't need a man in your life. You just need yourself. And on one hand, there's a lot of truth in that. And I would go the rest of my life being a hermit if I could. But I do have children. I have a son. And then I've got children that I've lost. 2. I've got animals. There's always just more to do, right? I don't know. Learn how to carry or kickbox, KS. I got my white belt at the beginning of last year. And I would really like to dive into martial arts more. I love it. I love being in my body, numerology. I'm 5. I've just been a physical, athletic person my entire life. You know, I know I got a 6-pack. But it's money, resources, time. Right? There's always so much that I want to do, and I just find myself wanting to do everything all at once and just not having enough of the resources to do it, or being in a box where my energies are being pulled away from my work into doing other people's work. So boundaries, right? Boundaries have been a thing. Sorry, turrets and archery. Sonali, thank you for the comments here. I'm just kind of ping-ponging some ideas back and forth. My guest didn't show up, and I was really hesitant, or not hesitant, but I was really motivated to go crawl back into bed and just kind of shut all this down. But I feel like I have to be here. I need this space. I have this voice space, and this information is moving, and it needs to be heard. It needs to be processed. And archery, I love. I really like archery. I don't get opportunities to do it, and I don't think I've gotten to shoot a bow and arrow in years. But I like it. Yeah, the protection, the self-protection, learning how to protect myself. Energetic protection, especially. On the physical side, I mean, there's definitely a part of me when it comes to speaking my voice and sharing this information and putting this stuff out there that is afraid, right? That who knows what could happen. I don't want to feed into it. But if the feminine is overtaking, right? Like if the butterfly cells within the cocoon are overtaking the caterpillar cells, fear's not necessary. It doesn't need anything. Yeah, that's true. Yes, Nelly. If your mind is in a box, your body follows. There's something else I was just reading too. Saying something similar, but the mind follows the body, right? So there's this, in the work that I do when I work with my clients, and when I do the training with the people, when I speak, when I do my lectures. Ask my son, he's 4, he's already getting lectures. I can see the look in his eyeball of, oh, this, not again. The mind, body, spirit connection. Yeah, if they're not all in alignment and they're not all synced up, and things don't manifest and they don't materialize, right? So if your mind is in a box, get your body out of the box. If your box, one kind of goes into the other. And you're right, no, self-doubt is not beneficial. Self-doubt is so detrimental. And the moment that we begin to doubt ourselves, and we begin to doubt our truth, and we begin to doubt whatever, it's just all downhill from there. I think that's where the lies come in, the lies about ourselves. If we're doubting ourselves, if we doubt our truth, if we doubt our abilities to show up and to be and to make it through, then anxiety kicks in. And then if anxiety is steering the ship, and fear is steering the ship, we're not in a space of authenticity, not in a space of present time. So the interactions, the reactions, all of those things, healing can't occur. It just can't. If those connections and those channels are disconnected, we're not in sync with ourselves. I think the other spectrum of that also is true. Or if you have too much confidence in yourself, right? If you're too egotistical, it's also not beneficial. Self-righteousness. This idea of self-love keeps coming up. What is self-love? Love. What are the semantics behind love and loving the self and knowing the self and crawling out of these dark places? And my guest who I was going to have on today, my focus, what I wanted to talk to her about was going from crawling out of these dark places. When we're so boxed in, when we're so caged in these labyrinths, or we're just stuck. We're in these dark places. How do we get out? Right? How do we get out of these? And yeah, I agree, Sonali here. I'm sorry, I'm thinking in my head that like I'm processing a lot here, so thanks for bearing with me, and thanks for sharing this space. If anything, when it comes to making decisions, making choices, take your time. High Priestess comes through, right? Choose the words, choose wisely. Yeah, if I could just like get into my body and release a lot of this energy, this pent up energy, like in a very physical way, I would feel a lot better. A lot better. So I'm just trying to figure out how to make that happen. It's in the context of my resources. Right? How do we reach out? What are the priorities? What do I want to put my time and my energy into? So I don't know, like when it comes to like this masculine feminine thing, I think where I'm most held up in terms of moving forward in my life, I'm stuck on one point in time. I'm stuck on a guy. And I keep replaying these same moments in my head over and over and over and over, like how I could have done things differently, or like what hasn't been showing up in like over the last couple of years since connecting with this person, and since losing connection with that person. It's like I've just been in my head, right? Kind of stuck in my head and like reeling over things like where did I go wrong? There's so many places and there's so many things, and there's like I just look at like these circumstances and these situations and how detrimental it was to have doubted myself, to have not followed through and to not followed my heart, and to fall into a space of fear. I'm mad at myself. I know. I'm mad at myself for allowing myself to be bullied by another man. We're just mad for not having strong enough boundaries, or like I don't know. No, I'm just crying. I'm just processing, and I feel stuck, and I feel alone. I just want so badly to be free and to just feel like relaxed and to get out of survival and trauma mode. But I'm sorry. I might have to call it this morning. I don't think I can just sit here on the radio and just cry all morning. I think more than anything, like, I want to believe that I'm alright and I'll be fine and I'll make it through this and I'll get back on my feet and I'll figure it out. And that, like, this time when I stand back up, it's gonna work and things are gonna be fine. But it hasn't been. You know, like, I'm so young, but I've had to start over so many times. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of putting all of myself into something to have it not pay off, or to have it backfire, or to have somebody steal something, or to have somebody hurt me because I'm vulnerable. Or I don't know. It's just not my time, I guess. And it's true, like, you know, we're never alone. There's ghosts, there's spirits, there's energies, there's that. You know, I've got the guides, and I think it's really easy for me to fall into the space of being alone, or like being detached from community. And I think, like, sometimes it's so much easier to be with the energies. It's so much easier to be with the spirits. It's so much easier just to, like, be in that space. But I'm being called to be with the people, to be around people, and I'm just so sensitive, you know? Or, like, unsure. I don't know. My mom told me a few years ago, shortly before I separated myself from my maternal family for a couple of years and didn't talk to them for 2 years. She had said to me, all my problems are all my own fault. So I take that in, right? And I took that to heart. And I think, like, where I defeat myself the most is in, like, feelings of self-worth. Like, just trying to figure out, I don't know, it's like, I know where it comes from, I know what it stems from, I know what it all feeds into, and, like, as a psychologist, you know, I'm not immune to any of these things. And, like, how many self-help books are like, you're a badass at making money? I'm reading that book right now, right? Like, how do we reframe our relationships? How do we reframe our words? Because when it comes to, like, that self-defeatist attitudes, no, like, I think, like, most of my life, for kind of as long as I can remember, I've just been beating the crap out of myself, you know? So hard on myself. And it took me a really, really, really long time to not be so self-destructive. I'm just wanting to take it all out. Tried a couple of times and it didn't work. And so yeah, I just find myself riding the precipice, riding the edge. I'm trying to figure out like what my worth as a human is. What do I want? Like, how do I value myself? What does being worth something to myself look like? How, you know, or like, what do I deserve? And then like I just get into these like spaces of, I don't know, like piety is the right word, or just feeling like I should have nothing, or just like feeling like having nothing makes me somewhat spiritually better. But like there's like all these lies, right? Like all these like things that we tell ourselves about how things should be and how things are, and like when it comes to like the things not manifesting in the world the way that I want them to, there's just disconnects from like the mind, body, spirit. And I think a lot of it has to do with this women's energy. And I think going through this women's energy course is going to open up a lot of aha moments for me, or just hopefully open up some of these channels and allow some of the stagnating stuff to start flowing and start moving. Because yeah, there's just been a lot of doubt, or just like this voice in my head, a masculine voice, I don't know, like somewhere between my son's dad and my uncle, my deceased uncle, you know, like, you can't do that. That doesn't belong here. You can't do that here. Like, why? And I feel like, especially in my younger years, I was so brave. Especially when it came to speaking my truth. So brave. And then for whatever reasons, like, it's just been beaten out of me. Somewhere in there, like, I just got, I don't know, hurt by men. Hurt by a lot of women too. I think when we're trying to break out of our old molds and create something new, or if we're shifting the energies and we're transforming, the world around us transforms, and the people around us shift and transform. And if you're stupid like me and go on this accelerated journey of transformation and continuous transformation, it can be energetically overwhelming. Like, things can be very fleeting. And I hope my guest next week decides to come on. I hope she shows up. And I know this is a hard space for her, and because part of what we wanted to go into and talk into, again, like going from that dark into the light. How do you bring that female energy forward through the arts, right? And then how arts and creativity can pull us out of some very dark and detrimental situations. So I don't know. It's challenging. I got a couple minutes here before the break comes on. I'm going to recenter, reground myself. I've got another hour here. I can feel a big part of me wanting to detach. Detach from the radio, detach, run, go crawl into a little hole, go back to sleep, right? And kind of hide away from the greater responsibilities of showing up for the world and processing things on a complex emotional, cognitive level. I don't know what the hell's going on in this cultivating consciousness space. But it's like a petri dish for my psyche. Oh. I got one more minute here. Snolly, thanks for being my chat room voice to help ping pong some information. Lucky you, never in a mold. I grew up in a mold, but like water, if there's a leak, if there's a crack in that mold anywhere, I'm out. So, since we've got a crack in the mold of the time here of cultivating consciousness, I'm gonna take a break, go reground, recenter. I'll come back through the second hour, pull out some more cards. I've been pulling them kind of here and there as I'm talking to just kind of help guide me through this. But whatever it is that we're getting here to in here in this space, I think it's important to process. KelseySweet.com. You can go find me there. freedomslips.com, revolution.radio. Find us, support us.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Galactic Interstellar Council on Revolution Radio Studio A, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us as we traverse the starseed paradigm, as expressed in the time-space continuum that we know as the divine expression of love and light. Integrating this conscious unity into the galactic paradigm. So welcome all, both terrestrial beings and galactic beings as one. So be it. You're listening to Revolution Radio. It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. Countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The Story Behind the Story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio. Thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
Welcome back from our short break. Welcome back to Cultivating Consciousness. I'm Kelsey Sweet, Master of Transformative Leadership. Leadership. And like most mornings, when we're cultivating consciousness early in the morning, things often don't go as planned. So we're just kind of winging it. I'm opening up my channels and allowing the information to flow through, showing up, holding space, doing what I do. So, those of you who've been with me through the first hour, or those of you who are just joining us, I'm just crybabying my way through the day. Just processing some stuff that I've been holding on to for a while and trying to get in alignment with the energetic of my truth. My truth, who I am, what it is that I do, what it is that I'm supposed to be doing in the world, where I'm supposed to be. I think when we get into these low vibratory states, or when anxieties are high, or when our emotions are just like kicking, or we're not happy, like it's our bodies, it's everything signaling us that it's time for change, and time for something new, time for something different. And sometimes it's hard to let go, hard to move on, hard to go forward. And sometimes, like, that part of it's really easy too. Sometimes it's really easy to let go and to move forward. So, I don't know, I think if you've made big transformations in life, or if you've ever had to lose something, or if you like had to give up something to gain something else, or if you had to like lose it all to go forward, or if you've ever like sacrificed materially to try to get ahead, or to try to gain something somewhere, I think you can relate. And I think what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling is I've set the bar so high for myself. And I've given myself these expectations, or this idea that things should be a certain way. I'm not really sure where that came from, because I don't really necessarily feel like it's fully my truth. Yeah, I'm missing out on my body. Just kind of trying to get myself oriented here. So thanks for bearing with me. Just feel like we're just sitting and hanging out. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the deck. I'm gonna go back to cards. I've got the Hermit card chilling here right on top, because I can feel myself wanting to like just go even further into this hermit hole. And I think also what I'm experiencing is the emotional anticipation of committing myself to something, which means having to let go of other things. And so I can feel myself grieving loss before it happens, as it's starting to happen. Just the relief of making space and allowing new things to come in, right things to come in. And I think that's part of something that's going to help too, as far as getting in tune, or getting alignment going with mind, body, spirit, getting everything into this frequency realm, right, where everything just comes together. Okay, I'm going back to cards. I'm going to shuffle through this. I got things kind of mixed up, so thanks for bearing with me. If anything, a lot of the work that I'm doing right now here at the moment is on an energetic level, on another plane, in another field, on another dimension, so to speak. And as a researcher in consciousness, I'm a PhD student. And as a researcher in consciousness who's got a background in empirical behavioral psychology, right? Like, it's important to me to figure out where the data is. Like, how do you know that's true? How do you know all that's real? Like, how do you know? Somebody asked me that yesterday. Like, how do you know it's masculine energy stuck in your right ovary? I don't know how I know, other than the knowing just feels like truth. And it resonates as something inside. It's a very visceral confirmation energetically. Is this in alignment with me, or is this not in alignment with me? And when things energetically aren't in alignment with us, and we have them in our environment, especially material things, right, it throws everything else way out of whack. It throws the mind out of whack, which throws the spirit out of whack. And the last probably week and a half or 2 weeks, I've been thinking a lot. Oh, there I am, moving energy. Thinking a lot about going through my clothes, because clothes hold a lot of energy. And again, eliminating and getting rid of things. And I'm so funny energetically, because there's part of me that's like, I want the big material thing, or whatever that is. And then there's this other side of me that wants no material attachments at all. And if I didn't have a child, and I just had myself to take care of, it makes sense to not have a whole lot of material attachments. I've really so much, and throughout my 20s, and moved a lot, traveled a lot, and I felt free. And now it's not just me, right? It's myself and my son. And if I got to live my life and my truth the way that I wanted, he would just come with me. And we could move, and we could be, and we could like fly by the seat of our pants. But it's not just me and him, like, I have his father that I have to take into consideration as well. And though we're not in a relationship, and like, there's other dynamics there. And I don't feel free. I feel trapped. And I don't like this feeling at all. And I just feel like it's in a system that isn't necessarily supportive to the way that I want to live my life and the way that I want to raise my child. And so, as an artist, as a change agent, as a creative maker, as a person who's focused on cultivating conscious co-creative communities, like, I can't not do anything about it. I can't throw myself out with the bathwater, so to speak, just to fit in. It's never been me. I've never been one to fit in. I've definitely always stood out, whether I've wanted to or not. Mostly I haven't wanted to. It's just for whatever reason, I feel like I'm an anomaly. Nothing special, just weird, right? And there's a lot of weirdos out there. So, and in tapping into my own weirdness, King of Cups, moving energies, moving things, like really trying to embrace that initial intuitive impulse, that instinct, that gut response, like getting back in tune with that raw, real, authentic self, for me is important. Because I feel like conditioning over the years, it just shakes that out of us, right? Where, like, the more we learn, the older we get, the more we quote unquote know, right? The more complex our repertoire of behaviors becomes. Like, Einstein forgot how to tie his shoes, right? Because there's just, I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's see. Let's go back to King of Cups. Emotions, getting those things into control. Normalizing things that haven't been normal before. I mean, because we're shifting perspectives. We're going from a masculine age to a feminine age, so we have to start looking at things inverted from a different perspective, from a different angle. In this masculine world, things have been very, like, bottom-up processing. I'm not necessarily using that phrase in its correct context, but, like, processing things from the root chakra up, from the material world up, right? Like, recognizing ourselves as sapient, physical material first. And then through that sapient, physical material, learning how to love, learning how to speak, learning how to connect. And then, finally we learn, yes, there's spirit up there, and we can become spiritual beings, and we can ascend. If we do all these steps, we can become a spiritual godlike essence. But that's not, like, collectively, culturally as a whole, I think it's doing us a disservice, and it's just not working for me. And I feel like if it's not working for me, it's probably not working for other people either. And I really like this idea of, like, the top-down processing, or processing things from the crown chakra first. Right? This idea that we are spiritual beings walking around in meat suits. Right? We aren't limited by the sapient material world trying to ascend to something seemingly unachievable that can only be reached through, initiation after initiation. This is recognizing ourselves as spiritual, godlike entities that can do anything and all the things, that have all the creative potential and power within them already. And all of that energy, all of that knowledge, all of that creativity has to be condensed and confined into this material meat suit body. All of that knowledge, all of that inspiration, all of that beauty and ethereal stuff has to trickle down and be prioritized in this time-limited material matrix that we've projected. We can't do it all at once because our meat suits need to sleep. We can't show up and be fully present if our body is sick. But if we try to heal from the sapient level, if we try to heal from the material physical level, and the head can get in the way, then we succumb to the pains, and we succumb to what feels like is reality outside of us. If we go the other way, we heal ourselves, we heal our world. Like, if we heal our mind, right? Like, if we're bringing in spirit, then the mind heals itself and the body heals itself and everything comes into an alignment, and then we can, from that space, co-create a collective consciously that is beneficial to us all. But unfortunately, in this like material sapient world, within this matrix, there's all sorts of condensed energies, consolidated entities, beings fighting, just fighting. Maybe it's like caterpillar cells versus the butterfly cells in this realm of transformation. Like, however we get out of this, right? If we can become the butterfly self, I feel like in this space, as a performance artist on the radio, I go back and forth between like an academic lecturer and a preacher, trying to navigate this space of consciousness, conscious living, conscious being. Oftentimes it doesn't make sense, but it feels right, right? And then only after does it all begin to make sense. Like, if we really listen. Water rafting is fun. Done that once. Gone surfing once. Not a very strong swimmer, and I'm not very close to the ocean. I don't like cold water. Get through the chat feed. I need to get in my body, is what I need to do. I need to get out of my head and get into my body. And when I get into my body and start stepping into my body, right? If I don't have that physical outlet, the sport. At this point, I could probably benefit from any sort of sport, anything in my body. Getting out, going for a run even would probably be nice. Okay, let's see. King of Cups. Responsibility and creativity. A learned person. Professional, businessman, lawyer, religious person, scientist, considerate person, kind and reliable, liberal manner, artist, interest in the arts and scientists, generosity. The other side of this one is interesting. So let's see. Before I get ahead of myself. Artistic temperament, double dealing, scandal, loss, ruin, injustice, a crafty person without virtue. A lot of what I teach and preach when it comes to creativity and self-expression is the intention behind it, the emotion behind it. Where is that coming from? Why are you doing the thing that you're doing? If there's no moral structure or virtue to hold that creativity together, you have to ask yourself where you're sourcing your creativity from and where that information or where that creative thing has come from. Are you creating from the root chakra, the material level, creating just to have something, right? Are you creating from a space of ego because you need recognition? You need to be seen? Are you creating from heart? Is it about love? Are you creating from intuition? Is this about knowledge? Are you creating from one specific chakra channel? I don't know that if we create from one specific chakra channel that it is fully in alignment with our collective highest good. if we're creating, if we are being creators, honor the creator and source it from highest creation. Source it from the source. Don't source it from ego. Right? You got to be really like solid and clear and know yourself well in that. I think it's really easy because in working with artists and over the last several years in group settings, I mean, from very novice beginner to incredible professional, I've gotten to experience a range of artists and how they approach their craft and life, right? And they all do it differently. I think some of them are going for some of the same things, but when we make art the commodity that it is, when it becomes competition, when it becomes mine is better than yours, or an I have to do it and you can't sort of a thing, like injustice unfolds. And in not speaking up for the virtues as they're being admonished, that might not be the right word, or as they're being disrespected. I don't know, like I have my head, like in my head, a picture of this young lady, you know, who I overheard talking to somebody else, you know, and at the time, in reference to myself, saying, you know, oh, she's not a good artist. I'm gonna push her out of her job and I'm gonna take her art studio. And it happened, you know, the space allowed for it to happen. What an injustice for ego, for somebody else to step up and to try to step in or step on. Like, the arts get a bad rap for a reason. And it's not because like art is bad. And it's not necessarily because our culture doesn't value art or the creative. I think it's because we've disconnected the creative or the creator from the spiritual, and we've allowed just about anybody to make anything that they want. And there's freedom in that, sure. You can't tell somebody, no, you can't make a thing. That's trying to control somebody else's, whatever. That's, you know, an aspect of ego as well. But if artists can't work together and can't be in community, especially from another female, like a female to a female just to support male, like energetically, collectively, that does nobody a favor. That's an injustice to everybody. Yet our larger part of the system continues to feed that male ego, and it continues to support that, and it continues to support this idea that ugly ass bitch is what we want. Because it's easy, because it's quick, because it doesn't ask questions, because it doesn't challenge, because it doesn't threaten. It doesn't threaten you consciously. This like male versus female, masculine versus feminine war that's going on. Because I think like when it comes to race, when it comes to these other major issues, underneath it all, male versus female, you know? Not necessarily like man versus woman, but masculine versus feminine energy. We have to recognize that we have both of those energies within us. right? And that collectively, for whatever reason, we've just taught that the female energy is bad, that the female energy should be repressed, that it's the masculine energy that should be on top. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. You know? I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the injustices against women. Just tired of it, because it's so subtle. And like, the small things, you know, here and there, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But when they stack up over decades, centuries, lifetimes, right? The subtle comments, the subtle disregards, the subtle, I don't know, like, I'm just getting to a point where I have no tolerance for it. And I'm finally getting into this space within myself where if it's not in alignment with my highest good and it's not energetically helping and healing me and others, I want no part of it. And it's such a hard space to get to as an empathetic person, as an empath, because I want to reach out and I want to support and I want to connect. As a mother, I want to nurture and mother all. But one thing I'm learning to implement is the tough love. I've experienced it my whole life. You know? From unexpected sources, unexpected people, where, I don't know, like, it just goes to this very, like, tough love. And I think a lot of my life I've been very afraid to be tough. To be a tough lover. We're taught to be soft as females, right? We're taught to be submissive and passive. We're taught to go with the flow. But it's just not, it's not working out. Not working out. Short term here and there, there's little wins, but as a whole, it's not working out. Knight of Swords is my next card that I grabbed. Go back to the book. Knights are funny, they're always on a mission. Trying to conquer something. This guy, he came through reverse, so I'm gonna read that version first. Incapacity, impudence, dispute or ruin over a woman, impulsive mistakes, conceited fool, simplicity. Right? Upright. Bravery, skill, capacity, the strength and dash of a young man, heroic action, opposition in war, impetuous rush into the unknown without fear, a master in the art of action and warfare. Dispute over a woman, dispute over female energy, men fighting over women, women fighting over men, women fighting women for other men, right? Like, I think one of the strangest things I've experienced as a woman, I call it strange, I don't know what else to call it, is when you're having an issue with a man, and you share that issue with a man, with a woman, and instead of supporting you, the woman, as a woman, she says, oh, there's my way in to take the man. Right? I don't know. People are weird. But it's this battle, it's this war, like, If you've ever had anybody threaten to publicly destroy you, you might understand or resonate a little bit kind of with where I'm going with this energetically. Because as a woman, as a petite female, to have a man 3 times my size, 2.5, 3 times my size, say to me, they're going to publicly destroy me, like, that's not fair. That's violence. That's an unfair fight. Like, that's manipulation. And so much of our world is ran off mentalities like this. And we're just supposed to bend over and take it. Like women, we're just supposed to bend over and take it? Really? Because the other one I'm getting frustrated with when it comes to maintaining and holding those boundaries, right? Like, how many times do I have to say no? Like, do I really have to get to the point where I'm loud and big and mean and rah, just to like have that no respected? I don't know. I'm angry and I don't want to be. I'm angry at men and I don't want to be. I'm disappointed in women and I don't want to be. The Emperor comes through. King of Cups, Emperor, Queen of Cups. These are all just like big, strong, masculine figures. Alright, let's look at the Emperor. What does he have to tell us today? Worldly power, confidence, wealth, stability, authority, indomitable spirit, war-making tendencies, father, brother, husband, male influence, domination of intelligence and reason over emotion and passion, patriarchal figure. Those all sound good, right? Like we've been living in the patriarchy, striving for these great things. Reason and logic over emotion. If you've ever had your mother tell you that your emotions are stupid, I think you can see how some of this patriarchy plays out and how it affects women, right? Where this isn't just like man versus woman, it's femininity versus masculinity, contained within both of us. All of us. Both contained within each of us, right? So if we look at the other side of this one, reverse immaturity, ineffectiveness, indecision, inability, weakness of character, failure to control petty emotions. I don't know. It's not always effective, right? There's a good side, there's a bad side. The Fool card comes up. It's all new beginnings. Nine of Staffs. I'll probably read that one out. What's this one? 10 of Pentacles. I'll read out that one too. We got about 20 more minutes or so here. Whew. So I hope this is helpful for you. This is helpful for me. Radio gets to be my therapy, and you are my therapists. The roles have been reversed. Oh, I'm just kidding. Am I? Not really. Okay, let's see. Nine of Staffs. Staff staves. Again, manifestation, creating. Obstacles, adversity, problems, delays, disaster, barriers to overcome, and ill health. What's the reverse side of this, right? If there's injustice, if there's indecision. Sonali brought this up earlier and mentioned it in the first hour, where like our self-destructive natures, right, can... I'm sidetracking again. So if we look at the upright, expectation of difficulties and changes, anticipation, hidden enemies, deception, discipline, order, a pause in a current struggle. That one resonates. The last couple of weeks have really felt like that big pause. Because I've been struggling. Like, in all honesty, like, I'm just struggling. I'm having a hard time, like, just being able to get to a place where I'm financially independent and on my own. And, you know, I can break it down into, like, all the realms of self-worth and this and that, and we can analyze it to the nth degree to figure out, you know, why all the things are, or whatever. But I think it's necessary. I mean, things are definitely changing globally, and it's not just like, this isn't just an issue that I'm feeling within myself because there's a major change within myself now. You know, this is like, the world is changing. The world is going through some radical transformations. Culturally, socially, like just about every single country. And so, discipline right now, I think, is really important for us to get into alignment with health and well-being, right? To be very disciplined about self-care and wellness, and being consciously on top of our words, our internal conversation, our internal words, our external words, our creations. Words are creations. You speak a word and a thing is created, right? The hidden enemies, I think when we become present, we pause and we stop struggling in fear of the past or the future, and we're in present time, and wait. Stop trying to force things. Those hidden enemies will come to the surface, right? And I think in these times of transformation, when we allow ourselves to step back and observe, so we can see the truth and we can see what's there, it makes it easier to move forward into the next step. It can be accelerated. You know, I think there's such a rush to get things done now and to have things now. And in this Knight of Staffs, there's a unicorn like peering through the trees. You know, you can't see the forest through the trees. Sometimes you gotta step out of it all. Ten of Pentacles. Let's look at this one next. Let's see here. Let's look at the bottom part of this one. We're going to look at the negative aspect, and then we're going to focus on the positive aspect of this. Okay, so 10 of Pentacles upside down, bad odds, possible loss, hazard, robbery, loss of inheritance, dissipation, gambling. So you don't want to risk, don't leave yourself vulnerable. I don't have this one upright. This one kind of like, I don't know, I don't like that. But when we look at this the other way, upright, riches, safety, family matters, ancestry, inheritance, and a home. That would be nice. I'd really like to have a home of my own. I'm sure a lot of people would. There are a lot of homeless people right now. A lot of people that have been displaced from their homes. And as hard as I like to make my life, I know there are many people who unfortunately have had things much harder. And there are people who have experienced things that are very difficult. Like my heart just breaks. My heart just goes out for people that have to struggle. I don't know if they have to or not. I'll say, like, because then we start getting into the esoteric principles of all of this, and we start diving into the realm of consciousness and karma, right? And like, we choose our own realities and we create these environments and stuff. So it's just like, well, shoot, what do we do with all this information and how do we move through it? You know, if it's all just a dream and we're all responsible for all of our own problems, and you know, there's just this, again, we're at this precipice of either losing it all or rebuilding it all. And unfortunately, it doesn't simultaneously happen all at once. Some places will be rebuilding, and some places will be crumbling. So I think, like, more than ever, like, getting people just to even sync up a breath, just to sync up energetically and consciously, just so we can all get on the same energetic page, so to speak, and co-create from that space. We've lost that. We don't get those connections in group settings so much anymore. That ritual, that connection to spirituality, it's missing. Not altogether, not from everyone. There are definitely false idols, and there's definitely a lot of deception out there trying to tell you that one thing is one way and one thing is another. And I think more than ever, all these things that we have been told are bad when it comes to femininity, emotional, anything, like, that's right now going to be wielded against us. And listen to your first instinct. Go with your first gut. If it doesn't feel right, it's not. You know, even if the veil is pulled over, and I wonder from the opposite perspective, when things look like they're so bad and erratic and out of control, or it just seems so far-fetched, perhaps that is the truth. We've been trained to think that the truth is so far-fetched because we've been trained to believe the lies. And it's unfortunate. 95% of what we do is subconscious, unconscious. Like, when it comes to consciousness and cultivating consciousness, we're only conscious of a very small percentage of what's going on and happening. And out of the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of stimuli that are around us at any one given point in time that can be sensed with any of our sensory capabilities, right? Like, when we start opening ourselves up to that, when we start tapping in and tuning into that, it can be very overwhelming, especially if we don't understand exactly what that energetic work is and what that energetic work looks like. We're not taught that on a mainstream. And through my journey of health recovery over the last 15 plus years, it seems, 20 years, 23 years, I don't know, like, I say 23 years because I can remember and pinpoint the moment in time where I decided to give up my power. I was young, I was 10. And I remember at that point just feeling like I just wanted to be numb. And I just wanted to make the pain go away. Like, I just wanted to stop feeling things. And somewhere around there, just dissociated, detached myself from my body. And probably for, I would say that like the 15 years that followed, if not longer, I can recall witnessing myself from outside of myself on many occasions, and just observing myself as an outsider, watching, and as my body is on autopilot, right? As my mind is just on autopilot, and my spirit's just watching, like, it's not who I am, right? Like, and so I feel like over the last probably 5 years, probably since when I got pregnant, right? And like shifted into motherhood, like that energy really shifted, that dynamic of re-entering the body, right, began. I think there were a couple of years up to that point where, through meditations and whatever, where re-entering the body, reassociating with the self was definitely at the forefront. When we go through traumas, we dissociate, and so coming back into association with the self after dissociating can be incredibly overwhelming, right? Like when our spirit starts to consciously re-enter back into our body, and it starts to feel and acknowledge all of those sensations, and right when that spirit begins to start driving that meat suit again, it's a powerful force, and it can be something very, very much like getting into a really hot bath or a hot tub, right? Where you just have to like stick your toe in and just slowly kind of ease yourself in. Kind of the same way. So in reassociating and reconnecting, learning the body, right? You can notice on a subtle level the energies, the energetics, and I think if we teach life and inspire culture from this perspective, we can do so much more as a species. Maybe this goes into like the conspiracy theories of the 1%, right? Where like, you know, the lizard reptilian people are trying to control the mammalians, the spiritual species. Like the more I dive into this stuff, the more far out there I like to take these ideas. So it's interesting, but yeah, like getting into the body is challenging. Sonali here in the chat room mentions hands-on healing, massage, or teaching. So like what I do with him, or like how I go about that, because like when it comes to physical touch and massage, like I'm weird about it. I don't like people touching me. I don't like people massaging me at all. I don't like Reiki. I don't like people's energy like coming up into my body or into my space and shifting and moving things around energetically. And I just haven't been in a relationship, I guess, or in a situation with another person where I've felt safe enough to allow another person to touch me in such a way that like my body relaxes and I get vulnerable. Like that just, I don't know, the word massage does not align with relaxation to me. So to that, and speaking to that, what I teach him, we do a lot of breath work. We do a lot of meditation, getting still, and reflexology. Reflexology, like knowing the points in the hands and the feet and the ears, acupuncture, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, and like even like hot springs, like natural waters, if it's not like a large body of water, like if it's something stagnating, I don't know, I get funky about it. I get funky about water too. So, like, I don't know, like as nice as it would be just to like pick up and go to a hot spring somewhere, like I'm also in a position where like my car doesn't work and hasn't been working for months, and I can't just like up and take my son out of the state, right? Like, so I have a lot of these like limitations and things that are preventing me from living life the way that I want to, from being able to get to a space where I can relax and release. Like, I need a break. Like, I need a break from the universe, like a big one. And not just like, you know, a couple of days away from my kid. Not just like a big break from the universe. Like one of those big breaks where like, can't you see how hard I've been working? Like, can't I just like not have to work so hard and then actually have it pay off immediately? That would be cool. So working my ass off, right? To like see the payoff way down the road to a point where like it's not of benefit to me. Okay, and so in closing up this space and like in being vulnerable, I want to speak to like when I get to the space where I get to be vulnerable and I can be open, like one of the things I get most irritated with is unsolicited advice and like opinions about what people think I should do, you know, or like how to go about things, or like, cause like I understand the helpfulness nature to it too, right? Because like when it comes to like look online to see how to work on your car, I've watched a number of videos. Like I've got coils sitting in my car, but like this is again like not something that I can do by myself. I have a friend who's been able to come over and help me, but again, like it's timing. It's not like they can just drop everything and show up and like make it happen tomorrow, right? And again, like I'm caretaking for my mom who's older, and I'm also caretaking for a toddler, and I have like limited resources. So like how am I supposed to go drop everything and like go figure that out? Because like as much as I would really like to just like figure out how to go do it on my own, like the amount of time and energy and stuff that's going to take to make that happen, like, anyway, I don't know, like if there's an easier solution out there, or like if, I don't know, if I could figure out what it is I'm doing wrong to figure out how to make it all work, that would be great. Because I don't know, like, I don't know if it's that my mind's too open, if there's too many options, like when it comes to limiting and things, like if more than anything, like again, you just need to freaking relax and take a break and get space just to like think and be and process. And I just haven't had that, right? And I don't know that a lot of people have that right now. There's a lot of things that are really calling our attention, so why am I not like house cleaning and making $200 a day? I'm house cleaning for my mother and I get free rent. Like, why am I not house cleaning and making that a day? Because when I was house cleaning for other houses and I'd have to take a toddler with me, I can't get it done, right? Because it costs more to put my kid somewhere, and because my car can't get me there. So I don't know, on that note, like I'm just started out my first hour crying. I'm ending my second hour frustrated beyond all belief. And I don't know, it's cultivating consciousness. It's life. It is what it is. It's just, you know, Mitchell's coming on next, Revolution in the Morning. There's probably more information that you can gain there and learn there. Why am I not doing a lot of things? I don't fucking know. Sorry, I need to close off this channel right now. I'm gonna go cry some more. Fucking cultivate my own goddamn consciousness. I just need help. I need help. I need somebody to help me. KelseySweet.com. I need help. I don't need to go clean houses for $200 a day. I need a fucking real job. I need things to just work. I need not struggle. Why am I not somebody else, Sonali? Why can't I just be somebody else?